is heading towards a third-term sweeping victory. But remember, it is a belief at the moment. It's not a fact, and there are people who question it as well. The opposition looks weak, divided, ineffective. They don't have a leader that can compare to Modi in any sense or shape. Rahul Gandhi is not cut out and suited to be a politician. An accident of birth has propelled him to the position that he enjoys. The fact that he happens to be or was the president of the Congress party and now is its most important leader, even though he's no longer president, also suggests that he has a dominant role in the opposition. But he is temperamentally, in terms of his personality, in terms of his attitude and interest to politics, I don't believe he's suited to be a politician. There are probably three separate factors that account for the belief that Modi is heading towards a third-term sweeping victory. The first is his own incredible confidence. He's gone public about the fact that he's aiming for 370 seats out of 543 for his party, over 400, as he calls it, 400 par for his coalition, which is the National Democratic Alliance. That confidence has also translated into Modi saying that he's given instructions to civil servants to prepare a roadmap for the first 90 days as well as the first 6 months of the new government when it comes in. The second factor that makes for his incredible confidence is his popularity. You cited the Pew poll, which suggests that 75% of the country believes that he is the right man to lead the country in the future. There is the belief that a strong leader is needed for India. People tend to believe that strong leaders provide guidance and direction. So that popularity factor is the second condition that makes people believe he's heading towards a sweeping victory. And the third is that the opposition looks weak, divided, ineffective. They don't have a leader that can compare to Modi in any sense or shape. They're often quarreling with each other, and they don't have a national presence of any significance. They have regional presences in many separate states, but at the national level, the single largest party is Congress, which had roughly 51 seats out of 543 compared to Modi's 303 in 2019. These three factors together clearly account for the belief that Modi is heading towards a third-term sweeping victory. But remember, it is a belief at the moment. It's not a fact, and there are people who question it as well. I think Rahul Gandhi is not cut out and suited to be a politician. An accident of birth has propelled him to the position that he enjoys. The fact that he happens to be or was the president of the Congress party and now is its most important leader, even though he's no longer president, also suggests that he has a dominant role in the opposition. But he is temperamentally, in terms of his personality, in terms of his attitude and interest to politics, I don't believe he's suited to be a politician. So the first thing that puts him at a huge disadvantage is that he doesn't have the natural talent and capacity for politics that Modi exudes in a huge way. Rahul is at a disadvantage. Secondly, because Congress has shrunk as a party, it has 51 seats at the moment. In 2014, it was reduced to, I think, 42 or 43. I'm saying that from memory. Its credibility amongst opposition parties has shrunk hugely. No one is prepared to give it the dominant role, and therefore, as a result, Congress, which was at one point of time when it was at the center of coalitions like the United Progressive Alliance coalition of 2004 to 2014, the center point of the opposition, it no longer is. A third reason why, in fact, the opposition lacks the capacity is because it's internally fractured by two further elements. One, Modi's capacity to pick out opposition leaders and target them for alleged corruption by targeting them through the Central Bureau of Investigation or the Enforcement Directorate. Practically every senior single leading politician from the opposition is alleged, and I'm emphasizing the word alleged, to have corruption cases or other such scandals against them. Modi is investigating them. Modi has arrested several of them. Two sitting chief ministers, Arvind Kejriwal and Hemant Soren, who resigned minutes before he was arrested, have been arrested and are in jail. That is true of several level politicians, ministers in Delhi, the daughter of the chief minister in Telangana, and several other politicians. Many others who were in danger of being arrested have swept across and joined the BJP instead, because once they join the BJP, what's called the BJP washing machine washes them clean. That is another factor that has kept the opposition badly divided. I think there is a very substantial, from what I've been told, sympathy factor working in favor of Arvind Kejriwal and his party, the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi, possibly also in Punjab, but I'm not so sure of Punjab. I think, therefore, the Delhi results will suggest that unlike 2014, 2019, when BJP won all 7 Delhi Lok Sabha seats, this time round, it's possible that Congress and Aam Aadmi Party, who are fighting Delhi at least in alliance, could out of the 7 get 2 or maybe 3. So yes, their prospects do look better this time around, and one reason why those prospects have improved is a sense of sympathy and concern for the way in which Arvind has been treated. I think there's no doubt about the veracity of what the critics are saying. Mr. Modi has targeted, both in terms of his party and in terms of several comments made by his ministers, and occasionally even in terms of comments made by him himself directly, the Muslims in the country. Remember, our Muslim population is 14.3% of the total population of the country, now estimated to be around 200 million. I think that makes it perhaps the 3rd biggest Muslim population in the world, and certainly bigger than most countries in the world. And yet they are taunted, they are called Babur ki Aulad, they are called Abba Jan, which is the term used by the UP chief minister to taunt them. They are repeatedly told, go to Pakistan. They are accused of love jihad and land jihad. Even Dharam Sansad, which are religious gatherings in 2021 or 22, threatened genocide against them. And all such occasions, the Modi government and his ministers are silent. Their silence is a sense of complicity. Their silence is a sense of concurrence. And there's no doubt that the secularism that is part of the preamble of the Indian Constitution and ingrained in detail right through the Constitution has been severely undermined by the behavior, by the comments, and by the conduct of this government. There are 2 obvious reasons why both Modi remain a sought-out leader and why India is a sought-out country. One, the size of the market. You're talking about 1.4 billion people. Most major Western economies wish to have a very substantial foothold, both in terms of investments and in terms of exports in the Indian market. Keeping on good terms with Modi is therefore essential. The second reason that Modi is sought out by the West is because India as a democracy, as a very sizable country neighboring China, is seen as a bulwark against China, which is a country that looks increasingly threatening to the West. For both those reasons, there is a willingness on the part, although possibly a diminishing willingness, of most Western leaders to overlook and ignore the democratic backsliding, the treatment of Muslims, the treatment of journalists, the treatment of NGOs that is happening in this country. On the other hand, the Western media, particularly the Financial Times, the Guardian, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, those are newspapers that, and the BBC, those are newspapers that have gone out of their way to give adequate coverage to what I call the downside of Modi's India, to the democratic backsliding, to all these concerns about secularism or treatment of minorities. So you can't simply say that Modi has a hugely highly regarded image abroad. He does to an extent for certain strategic and economic reasons, but increasingly even leaders are becoming aware and concerned about the treatment of minorities, the handling of democracy, the treatment of journalists, NGOs, even at times the behavior of the judiciary that is apparent in the media, and it is becoming a matter of subtle, subterranean concern with political leaders. But yes, the strategic interests that I mentioned still dominate the picture. India is a place to do business. India is clearly a country that can be a bulwark against China, which is why they continue to invest. And yes, Modi is a charismatic person. He is a brilliant speaker in Hindi. We haven't had an orator like him, not since Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and some would say he surpasses Vajpayee as well. He's also a very personable man. He's easy to talk to, he's friendly, and that makes an impact, and he's established an extremely good personal relationship with a range of leaders: Macron, Biden, Putin, Sunak. All of these are people that would mean it when they say Modi is a friend.